Got you on Facebook though.
Got me on Facebook. Yep.
And YouTube is working?
Can you check Instagram?
Still nothing. Oh, yes, got you.
Yeah. Yay! Hello, everybody. Here we are live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Managed to make the Instagram work this time. So, still have a few more minutes officially. So, how are all you cool cats and kittens doing, huh? Drop me a comment. Oh, it's this side. Drop me a comment. Say hi. Just going to adjust my hair a million times. Meow. Hi, Violet. How has your week been? I wanted to say, hey, all you cool cats and kittens, welcome to Wylde Stories too, but I wasn't too sure that the Instagram was working, so that was my priority. But yeah, we'll just hang out. Fix my hair. Wait for the crew to show up. Yes, so I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but I also managed to set it up so all of your comments come into the same place. So please leave me a comment. Tell me how your week has been. Watching a lot of streaming videos. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to do? I don't know. Not much. Not much at all. I think it's great though now. Like I feel like we're suddenly settling down into, you know, how it's going to be for a little while to keep us all safe, which is strange. Just adjust my camera a little bit. This backdrop is. Thanks. Yeah, my week was good. My week was good. I took Friday off, which might sound a bit strange, but I can absolutely 100% recommend it. I just sort of chilled and hi, Elsie. Yeah, I just sort of chilled out and, you know, did some drawing, did some writing. I've been using let me take this scarf off, it's way too hot. I've been using this lockdown time because we have it to explore more of the things that I would love to explore, but, you know, I have a life, so, you know, like painting, drawing, just trying to keep myself all sort of together, really. Where are we? Gonna start the stream properly when it hits on 4 because, you know, I'm a woman of my word. Am I a woman? I'm not even really a woman. Just this weird glam rock creature from the deep. Ooh. Just getting all my stuff ready.
Can the voice in your head say something?
Oh, of course.
I can't find the Facebook video. Where can I find it?
On my Facebook page. My personal Facebook page.
Good personal Facebook page.
It's there because, hi, Kat, I miss you too. Because Kat's there.
Got you.
Got it?
Yep.
Right. How's it? How's it? Nice to meet you, hey? What else do I know? I was engaged, well, kind of. I was going to marry a guy from South Africa once, but kind of fell through, never happened. Married now though, not to him, to someone else. Right, we've got 1 more minute. Yeah, exactly. All the best beings are called creatures. All right, I'm going to do a proper reveal. And that is it. It is 4 p.m. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Wylde Stories. It is Sunday. It is 4 p.m. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram Live, and Twitch, just because I've just been adding more platforms because, yeah, why the fuck not? Make it accessible. Everyone can watch it. Hope you all had a really great week. My week was wonderful. I did a 4-day week at work. Took Friday off. So yeah, I'm here. Princess is here. The voice of God is here.
Hi.
Well, voice of God, voice of my head, whatever. Either. And yeah, welcome to Wylde Stories number 2. Just want to say thank you so much for all your support with the last one, the first one. I expected about 25, 30 people, and in the end there was 155 of you that tuned in. So if you saw that one, thank you. If you are here for the first time, welcome. You can go back and watch the other one. Instagram doesn't save it, but you can see it on Facebook. You can watch the Periscope on Twitter. You can... What else can you do? You can Facebook Live, Periscope, Twitter. Oh, YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube. I'm going to leave them all up. So, you can go back, explore, jump in, jump out. Any comments, questions you've got, drop them in the comments. I've got all my comments coming into one midpoint, so I will see them all no matter what platform you are using to watch this. Because the internet is a wonderful thing. And yeah, I think before we start, I'm just going to be clear, this is not for children. I didn't add that last time, but I'm going to step it up a little bit with this one, get a little bit more dangerous, but that obviously means, themes, sex, drugs, rock and roll, swearing. So if you've got kids around, either make sure they're young enough not to give a shit or not to understand, or old enough to hear the word shit. Something like that. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to start as all the good stuff. Yes, absolutely all the good stuff. Going to start as we did last time, when people sort of see the stream, get involved, jump on, with a little bit of inspiration. I'm going to drink a shit ton of water. It's not vodka. Kind of wish it was. So this week I have been reading an amazing writing manual. It's this one here. Paul and Nick. It's called Consider This. I think you can see it. Oh, look there. Now it's in focus. There's a really amazing story behind this. I was able to access this in its very, very early draft days, and I read it, and it blew my mind. And unfortunately, the whole of that book didn't come to fruition, but this is Chuck Palahniuk's part. He was the guy who, at Spanbauer, who I read last week, taught dangerous writing. Really, really enjoy his work. So just while people jump on the screen, I'm going to read from what I think is the best one of his works. It was written before Fight Club, but they wouldn't publish it till after, or so the legend goes. It's called Invisible Monsters. This is an original copy. Hi, Emma. My goodness. Yeah, this is a copy of the original text as it came out, edited down after Fight Club was made. Palahniuk has now re-released it in its original balls to the wall, violent situation, but I haven't got one. It's supposed to be like a choose your own adventure thing. And yeah, my favourite thing about my copy is that it's got this cute little dedication in the front to who knows who. It says, "Dear Angie, my very own Queen Supreme, I love you kingly, B." So obviously Angie and B broke up, but now it's my book. And I'm actually going to read you the start because I think it's one of the most beautiful ways to... Dangerous writing. Dangerous writing is writing that's edgy, basically. Thank you very much, voices in my head. It's a good question. Where were we? Invisible Monsters. So I am going to read you the start of this. which I wouldn't normally do. If I was reading, I'd probably pick one from the middle, but I just think the start of this book is like really evocative. So without further ado, where you're supposed to be is some big West Hills wedding reception in a big manor house with flower arrangements and stuffed mushrooms all over the house. This is called scene setting, where everybody is who's alive, who's dead. This is Evie Cotterell's big wedding reception moment. Evie is standing, halfway down the big staircase in the manor house foyer, naked inside what's left of her wedding dress, still holding her rifle. Me? I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, but only in a physical way. My mind is... I don't know where. Nobody's all the way dead yet, but let's just say the clock is ticking. Not that anybody in this big drama is a real alive person either. And you can trace everything about Evie Cotterell's look back to some television commercial for an organic shampoo, except right now Evie's wedding dress is burned down just to the hoop skirt wires orbiting her hips and just the little wire skeletons of all the silk flowers that were up in her hair. And Evie's blonde hair, her big teased up back-combed rainbow in every shade of blonde, blown up with hairspray, well, Evie's hair is burned off too. And the only other character here is Brandy Alexander, who's laid out shotgun at the bottom of the staircase, bleeding to death. What I tell myself is the gush of red pumping out of Brandy's bullet hole is less like blood than some its socio-political tool. The thing about being cloned from all those shampoo commercials, well, that goes for me and Brandy Alexander too. Shotgunning anybody in this room would be the moral equivalent of killing a car, a vacuum cleaner, a Barbie doll, or raising a computer disk, burning a book. Probably that goes for killing anybody in the world. We're all such products. And Brandy Alexander, the long-stemmed latte queen supreme of the top girl party girls, Brandy is gushing her insides out through a bullet hole in her amazing suit jacket. The suit? It's this white Bob Mackie knockoff Brandy bought in Seattle with a tight hobble skirt that squeezes her ass into this perfect heart shape. You would not believe how much this suit cost. The markup is about a zillion%. The suit jacket has a little peplum skirt and wide lapels and shoulders. The single-breasted cut is symmetrical except for the hole pumping out blood. Then Evie starts to sob, standing there halfway up the staircase. Evie, that deadly virus of the moment. This is our cue all to look at poor Evie, poor, sad Evie, hairless and wearing nothing but ashes, encircled by the wire cage of her burned-up hoot skirt. Then Evie drops the rifle. With her dirty face in her dirty hands, Evie sits down and starts to boo-hoo as if crying will solve anything. The rifle, this, is a loaded .38 rifle. It clatters down the stairs and skids into the middle of the foyer floor, spinning on its side, pointing at me, pointing at Brandy, pointing at Evie, crying. And it's not that I'm some detached lab animal just continued to ignore violence, but my first instinct is maybe it's not too late to dab club soda on the bloodstain. Most of my adult life so far has been me standing on seamless paper for a raft of bucks per hour, wearing clothes and shoes, my hair done, and some famous fashion photographer telling me how to feel. Him yelling, "Give me lust, baby," flash. "Give me malice," flash. "Give me detached existentialist ennui," flash. "Give me rampant intellectualism as a coping mechanism," flash. So that was our inspiration reading, Invisible Monsters by Paul and Nick. Most of you will have read it, but I just think it's a really beautiful way to start a story. Hope you enjoyed. What have we got here? Hi, I love you too, Carla. My throat is a little dry, so. Excuse me for drinking a shit ton of water. So yeah, Invisible Monsters, a little bit like a queer fight club. Same themes. So let's kick off my own work. Where are we gonna go? Gonna start you off with a poem. This one is called Heavy Rain on the 2241 at King's Cross, but then I decided that was way too long a title. So now I just call it Heavy Rain. It was, yeah, I wrote it when I was at King's Cross on a train, and yeah. My love, I ain't been a saint, I know, I'm more inclined to bed those wild, but it's about timing you inhale and say, breathe coffee fumes, chip my ice away. My love, I admit I loved him more, it was just a short game, but it's about groundwork, about taking note, red margin marks all you said and wrote. My love, I promise it's all fair play, I'm allied with the moon, and you ain't about labels, you're about your name, and me and her, we're not the same. 'Cause I never declared the battleground on account you ain't started the war, but you best believe I'm changing my round. If she leaves the fight, I'll have you roar. So the noise of the rain on the station speaks in tongues, and just for me, changed while I waded the ocean, but you found me lurking by the sea. So this could be a storm on any damn train, and one of those cities with stupid-ass names. I've danced through the rain, and now I'm wet, in favours from rain gods, so I bet you'll sing me the love songs you've never spoken. I'm drenched, you're lost, I'm tired, you're broken. Yeah. Very interesting time in my life. That one. That one was, for me, it was really about capturing a point of view in my life and how exactly I was feeling. Oh, thanks, Violet. Yeah, it was great. Everything was fine. But yeah, sometimes I feel, I don't know if you guys have this, but sometimes I have these moments where they're just, everything seems kind of perfect and imperfect, and that was one that sort of just fell out of my head, like straight onto the page. I did cut it up a little bit and reword it for the album. There's a version of it on the album, but that's the original version, which is better than I remember it. I don't know why I cut it up. Shall we do some prose? Where are we? Exactly, yeah. That's completely right. Violet says, the moments to me where true perfections is flawed. Yeah, absolutely. And it was very much, I wasn't sad, I wasn't upset, but it was just capturing that one moment from a very long time ago was important. Okay. I'm going to read this one. This is a piece that I wrote for a magazine that one of my friends used to publish, not anymore. It's not out anymore. But she was kind enough to feature me in pretty much every single version that came out. So yeah, I've got a poem or a short piece, and the theme of this one was your brain on drugs. And so obviously, many of you know, I used to struggle a lot with taking tramadol, which is an opiate. Not all of you know that, but now you do. Now you do. Confession hour. It is a Sunday after all. Come to confess your sins. So obviously I wrote about my brain on opiates because, you know, your brain on drugs, that's exactly what I'm going to write about. So yeah, trigger warning here. If anybody has had any problems with addiction, you might just want to go make yourself a cup of tea. It's only a couple of minutes long. Go hug your kid, because hopefully they're not in the room. Go stroke your cats. Yeah, exactly. So. My brain on drugs. My brain on opiates is a martyr, a metaphor, a precious warrior carrying me through life on a fearsome carriage, horse-drawn and mighty. With one swallow of a tiny pill, I don great armor, serious, deadly. I throw reflections on the murky train, the muddy calm pull of life. My brain on opiates is a lover's smile, stripped back and naked, exposed for the first time as it shines pearlescent and duck egg blue. My brain on opiates is a castle gussied up, lazy nights swaying on the balcony, cards exchanged and helmets down, for there's no war, not on this terrain. Here. They live peacefully and kind. They exchange words for energy, which they use to shield the fortress, the lake, the river, where once a young girl gave a gift to the gods in exchange for this utopia. And my brain on opiates is a sign, a sigil, a fence put up around my kidneys, my stomach, my heart, 3 holy organs, and the Trinity is complete, sealed off from that potluck I opted out of at birth. Infected genes. Irrecoverably disjointed and coded with the number 2, decisions made by some unearthly power about that bitch there shouldn't always walk with pain. Her. She deserves a little fuck you after all. She's charismatic and pretty. She can talk her way out of most situations, so it's right we scramble her insides. So, my brain on opiates becomes a saviour, a single fuck you back at my genetics, a sweet chaotic ramble of the contemporary rush here, rush there, lift this, hold that, carry me. My brain on opiates is my saviour, my insurance. I can get home not trapped across town at 2 a.m. where the Uber drivers crawl the curb waiting for drunk girls to drive long routes home. So, my brain on opiates becomes a saviour, a survival. Precious manner of what I am, my private and secret pills popped in public bathrooms under my desk at work when I accidentally dropped my pen. How could I cheat on her? She's careful and the most fearless body I've ever known. It's not cool to be a drug addict. My brain off opiates is multicolour. Too many noises, small sounds and night sweat, stabbing pains, more than maximum doses of cocodamol coupled with the precious rainbow, all-known feeling that no matter how hard I try, I'll always return to her. So yeah, my brain on opiates. Very personal one, that. Pretty much over that now. Well, I mean, do you ever get over an addiction? No, but got a handle on it. All the hearts. Thank you, Sophia, darling. Thank you, Violet. We're racing through this today. Okay. It's time 20 past. Right, we're gonna do proud. Alice says she's proud. We're gonna do another poem, and then I'm gonna read you another source of inspiration. Some of you will know this one. It's one of my favourites. I wrote it, again, it all kind of fell out of my head in one long line. All these love poems have different people at the centre of them, by the way, so it's not just like one. I'm not just like I wasn't just like sitting there pining over a single person. They're from my whole life, which means they're all different people. I don't have a husband now anyway. Isn't that right? Voices in my head.
Yes.
That was, yeah. This is called Everyone Wants You With Me Except You. Kicking up parts and aching through towns, begging you, baby, just come, get down. Breathing pollution, breathing smoke, glances on stage, my fire invoke. So I'm writing love letters. What else can I do? Everyone wants you with me except you. Obliterate this empty night, songs from the city, songs to excite, soldiers of soulmates, shattered pasts, you have no interest in winning my heart. So I'm writing love letters. What else can I do? Everyone wants you with me except you. So I run with liars and beggars and thieves, all the sweet while, my heart on my sleeve. I tell the foxes to cry of my plight, that I wish I could ask you to stay the night. So I'm writing love letters. What else can I do? Everyone wants you with me except you. You blow me a kiss. And my heart, it beats fast. I swear these words might be the last, but I believe in love. Truly. I do. Everyone wants you with me. Except you. Everyone wants you with me. Except you. Again, unrequited love. Who wouldn't love me? Come on. Yeah, so you can see I dealt with feeling like that by becoming a self-absorbed arsehole. Which, you know, can recommend. Now I'm just like, what's your problem? Of course everybody wants to be with me. Guys, I've got two choices. Like, I'm a Libra. It's either one extreme or the other. I don't get a middle ground. I'm a Libra. A bisexual Libra who is also bipolar. No other chances. No other chances. This or that. No middle. Which is bad because you should always stay in the middle. Okay. I think I'm rambling less than I did last time, but inspiration number two. Right. Again. Filth warning. This is a no holds barred filth fest about to kick off here. I might even read you some of the erotica that I used to ghostwrite. The voices in your head love that one. Oh, thanks, voices in my head. What's my head doing?
You're welcome. Voices in your head haven't had any complaints.
Haven't had any complaints. How's your head? Yeah. Okay, so yes, what was I saying? Filth Fest. Filth Fest about to come up. Absolute Filth Fest. You'll know when I show you it. So, A, sorry, Mum, if you're here. I mean, sorry, not sorry. B, if you've got any kids around, probably not for them, even if they don't understand it. So, kick your children out of the room. If you don't want to hear me talking about breasts and fucking, then you can also leave. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about breasts? I don't know anyone that doesn't want to talk about breasts. But there we go. So, yes, inspiration number 2. My girl, Anais Nin. Let me focus the camera. There we go. You can't really see. Yeah, Henry and June. Weirdos don't want to request breasts. Henry and June. Richie Watson, if you're watching, I'm sorry I stole your copy of Henry and June. I'd say you can have it back, but I don't think you're going to be reading it to your child as a bedtime story. So if you really do want it back, I can send you it back. Yeah, sorry, Richie. But hey, what is a book collection if not nicked from your mates, right? Henry and June, a nice nin. Henry Miller. Everybody knows that. He's a bit of a cock to her, but yeah, this is just about a nice nin having sex. Lots of sex for the first time. And if you Google a nice nin, actually, I'm not going to show you a picture of her because I don't have one to hand, but if you Google her and get her up, she was a very striking looking woman, and I think this is part of her diary that she wrote at the time about understanding her own power and, you know, her own sexuality, and that just because she wasn't conventionally beautiful at the time doesn't mean she couldn't enjoy fucking. So yeah, I think that's probably enough time for you to usher your children out of the room, or put me on mute, which a lot of people wish they could do. Isn't that right? Voices in their head.
No comment.
A nice nin. So I can type. Hang on, let me type it in here for you first. Oh boy, if you've never heard a nice nin, are you in for a treat? Nin, like this. You see my voices in my head? Can they see that?
Which platform are we looking at?
Should go out to all of them.
No.
It says it's posted it on. Oh, it doesn't do it on Facebook apparently.
Right. Okay, that's all I can see.
Right, here we go. It's basically like erotica from the. When was this book published? First published in 1986. Yes, Sophia. Yes, my love. You are beautiful. You are beautiful. I just lost my place. You are beautiful. You know that. So yes, a nice nin, Henry and June. Here we go. This is May. May, what year? I cannot remember, but it is May. Let's get filthy. I have never seen as clearly as tonight that my journal writing is a vice, a disease. I came home at 7:30, worn out by a magnificent night with Henry and 3 hours with Eduardo. I didn't have the strength to go to Henry again. I had dinner, smoked dreamily. I glided into my bedroom, felt a sense of being enclosed, of falling into myself. I got my journal from its last hiding place under my dressing table and threw it on the bed. And I had the feeling that this is the way an opium smoker prepared his pipe. This journal, like a fragment of myself, shares my duplicities. Where has my tremendous fatigue gone? Occasionally I stop writing and feel a profound lethargy. And then some demonic feeling urges me on. So I confide in Alande. I talk profusely about my childhood, quote from my early journals and obvious phrases about father, so intelligible now, my passion for him. Also my sense of guilt. I felt I did not deserve anything. We discuss finances and I tell him the cost of the visits prevents me from seeing him more often. He not only reduces his fee by half, but offers to let me pay in part by working for him. I feel flattered. We talk about physical facts. I am underweight. A few pounds more would give me the security. Will Alande add medicine to the psychic treatment? I confess, the fear I have that my breasts are small, perhaps because I have a masculine element in me and half my body they therefore be adolescent. Alande, are they absolutely undeveloped? No. As we flounder in talk, I say, you are a doctor, I'll simply show them to you. And I do. Then he laughs at my fears. Perfectly feminine, he says. Small, but well outlined, lovely figure. A few pounds more, yes. But how disproportionate my self-criticisms. He's observed the unnaturalness of my personality as if enveloped in a mist, veiled, no news to me except that I did not know that it could be so plainly read. For example, my two voices, which have become quite apparent lately. One, according to Fred, is like that of a child before its first communion, timid, soundless. The other is assured, deeper. This one appears when I have a great deal of confidence. Alande thinks that I have created a completely artificial personality, like a shield I conceal myself. I have constructed a manner that is so seductive, affable, gay, and within this I am hidden. I had asked him to help me. Physically, was this a sincere action, me showing him my breasts? Did I want to test my charm on him? Was I pleased that he should be complimentary, that he should show more interest in me? Is it Alande or Henry who is curing me? And Henry's new love has me in a state of bliss such as I have never known. He wanted to hold off. He didn't want to put himself in my power. He didn't want to add himself to the list of my lovers. He didn't want to get serious. And now he wants to be my husband, to have me all the time. He writes love letters to the child I was when I was 11, who has touched him profoundly. He wants to protect me and give me things. He writes, I never thought such a frail thing could have so much power. Did I ever say you were not beautiful? How could I say it? You're beautiful, and when he kisses me now, I do not hold back. I can now bite him when we lie in bed. We devour each other like two savages, he said. So I lose my fear of showing myself naked. He loves me. We laugh at my gaining weight. He has made me change my hair because he did not like the severe Spanish style. I have thrown it back and high over my ears. I feel windblown. I look younger. I do not try to be the femme fatale. It is useless. I feel love for myself, for my inner self, for every word I write, for my timidities, my sorrows, my struggles, my defects, my frailness. And I love Henry in the same way. I cannot even hate his rushing towards other women. Despite his love for me, he is interested in meeting Natasha and Mona Piviera, the dancer, and he has a diabolical curiosity about other people. I have never known a man with so many sides, with such a range. To have a summer day like today and a night with Henry, I ask nothing more. So yeah, getting a little bit sexy there. That was a nice nin, Henry and June. And I'm actually going to read you on the review on the back of this because I just spotted it and I think it's really cute. It says, a very erotic book and profoundly liberating, says Alice Walker. Yeah, as you can imagine, it gets way filthier than that, but can recommend it. Can recommend it. Who doesn't love books about fucking? No one. So, shall we read something from when I was 16 again? Is it time? I think it's time. So, Oh man, I did this last night as well. You missed it. I know, Matt. Matt says, damn it, I missed the good bits. I know, you missed the filth. You're going to have to rewind once this is done and posted. It's okay. If you like the filth, I can do more filth. Just tune back in next week. I can read my own filth if you want. When I was ghostwriting erotica, that was really fun. Actually, that gave me my favourite ever review of my work, which was a young adult vampire erotica novel. I didn't choose the theme, but somebody posted on there as a review, absolute trash, never should have been written, which is amazing. I love it. I want it on a t-shirt. So if anyone wants to send me a t-shirt that says absolute trash, never should have been written, please make me happy. I'm locked down in my house. I wear it to work, which is, 3 meters from my bed. Quarantine times. So yeah, segue into this. This is really typeset awfully. I'm just going to show you this. This is a book I wrote when I was literally 16. As in the one that I read from the other day was like 17, 18. I knew a bit more about the world, but knew absolutely fuck all about anything when I was writing this. So bad. So yeah, it's a vampire novel. I'm just going to show you the front. Please laugh along with me while I just read you a tiny little bit of what I was writing when I was 16. Now, I need to tell you at this point, I had not read any Anne Rice. Even though it's going to sound exactly like Anne Rice, I'd never read any Anne Rice when I wrote these, surprisingly. And I got so fucking mad when someone was like, oh, that sounds like this. Have you read it? And I read it and it was literally all exactly the same. And I'm like, well, there goes those 3 novels that I just wrote. You can see, it's big. This is the sequel to a first one. Violet says nothing could be as bad as late teenage Violet's live journal. I don't know about that. This is pretty bad. I kind of choked before and didn't want to read the really, really bad stuff out to you guys. But now this is a thing and everyone loves it. We're going in. So this is called Black Rose because we are goth and we like blood. And we are sad at home, so we are writing books to escape. Sorry, Mum. I really hope she's not here. Mum, comment if you're here. Okay, she's not here. Great. With all the Fs. Goth with all the Fs. I'm going to try and read this without laughing, but... It was only a short walk to the churchyard. It was, I supposed, the correct place to stay at night. There are reasons for the old legends, although it's not even a sentence. Churchyards are dark, they are dank, and remain virtually unexplored by humans during the daytime, unless it's Hackney Park. Hi, Alex. Hello. We're just reading from my terrible fiction. I mean, you're not my mum. Yeah, I'm glad you're not my mum because you are my friend and that would be weird. We're reading from, just to catch you up, my terrible 16-year-old fiction. Where were we? We're in the churchyard. Sorry. Remain virtually unexplored by humans during the daytime. Coffins are easy to access and doors are easy to open with the vampire strength. Generally, the reason us vampires have a name for hiding in crypts and graveyards is because people do not like to be there. And us vampires do not like to be found, so therefore it is that we hide in those places which people do not go. Unless, of course, we have our own housing, Then it is much nicer to stay there. I had not realised it till now, but I had walked myself all the way to the graveyard and it seemed picked myself out a crypt in which to stay the night. This place was not dark. This place was pitch black, that real pitch black where it is that humans cannot tell whether their eyes are open or shut, where everything is a blanket of black. Of course, I could see perfectly. With the enhancement of the darkness, it was as if I had turned a light on around myself. Your 16-year-old self had never met a goth. Yeah, I was the only goth in school, like many of us. Where were we? We can see in the dark, right? Yeah. In fact, I cannot remember what pitch black to a human looks like now. Vision to me in the dark is exactly the same as vision in the day. Colours, textures are all vivid and perfect to me in the darkness. How would I love to see pitch black now? Now, how is that a contradiction in terms? It's literally not. There were spiders in that crypt. Cobwebs as well graced the corners of the walls. The condensation that had gathered from the few creatures that had been in here dripped down the walls in long dirt trails. Typical crypt. And the foxes had been in here. I could tell by the way... You could tell by the way they left their waste on the floor and the way that there was a blast of cold air curling its way around my ankles, because apparently foxes are in control of the wind for some reason. With a deep breath, I lifted the stone cover of the coffin. It was the old-fashioned type, engraved with hundreds of stone angels all trying to escape their prison, climbing over each other, their fat little faces twisted in looks of horror as they reached to the sky towards heaven. I don't like them. Throwing the lid to one side, I took a deep breath. This was the part that I had been dreading, the part that I did not want to do, the part where I had to reach in there and pull out what was left of the poor man this had belonged to, desecrating his grave as I did so. But I had to. Spending the night atop those bones would have been hell, even worse than removing them. It's not actually as bad as I remember. I want a wind fox, says Alex, yeah. I mean, I want a fox in general. Foxes are so cute. But a wind fox. Especially like when it gets to summer. You could be like, wind fox, make me cold. Right, I'm going to read a little bit more. Without further holding back, I plunged my hands into the realms of the coffin. Down and down it seemed I went, down into a place I could not see, down and falling. I hit something hard and smooth, something I knew only could be the feel of human bone. There was no blood. There was no gore left on his dead and decomposed body, and in a way it made it easier. I closed my hand all too hard and crushed the rib cage, bringing up when finally only I did fragments of bone. That's not a sentence either. But despite myself, I screamed. Despite myself, I threw them into the corner where the foxes had entered and fell to the floor, my heart beating hard in my chest. Why was I so afraid to do this one thing? Why was it that all the people I had killed, all the things I had done to people, removing the bones of a long dead mortal was disturbing me so? I do not know. I still do not know. I don't think I shall ever know. So I steadied myself. I used the cherubs to pull myself to my feet, and one of the heads broke off in my hand. I swore in French. Again, it was that I stood before the coffin. This time I had to control my strength. This time I had to be ready for it. This time when my hand touched the smooth bone, I pulled it back out and upward without crushing it. I had removed the poor man's ribcage hole, even though I crushed it in the scene before. It was easier the next time. Again and again and again, I pulled out bone and bone of his remains, threw them to the floor, and jumped on them until they were dust. So when I was done, it was almost sunrise. I threw in the bag of weapons that had been on my shoulder all the time, and as it hit the bottom of the coffin, I heard a short clanging of metal. And then it was that I was inside, and I pulled the lid shut over the top of my body, and this was all now familiar to me, this darkness of death, the evil, the way the bag rested firmly on my chest as I crossed my arms and relaxed my body for the sleep. The sun had risen overhead. So that's that part of crap. This is a book, it's the second book I ever wrote. Before that, I'd written the first one, which is literally just Interview with a Vampire, even though I'd never seen it. And this one is literally just a vampire Lestat, even though I'd never read that at that point. So, you can imagine how pissed I was very angry as a 16-year-old anyway, but you can imagine how angry I became when somebody was like, bitch, that's already been done. What's going on here? Pin this shit up. The Wind Foxes, says Alex. Yes, the Wind Foxes. The Wind Foxes are a better concept than the vampires, aren't they? Definitely. Look at that. Like a beautiful waterfall. Maybe you could write tales of wind foxes accidentally scaring vampires and eating chicken soup bones. That's a really good idea, and I'm not going to steal it from you, Alex. So where are we? Yeah, we go. So the moral of that story is writing is a gift and you must have it, but you can also refine it. And a lot of your writing is informed by your need to grow the fuck up and experience life, which is actually the original version of this that I read. It's not in here, but the first chapter of the first, not the original, I should stop calling it the original because I wasn't supposed to have it. But yes, the first draft that I saw of this before this got published, it actually had a huge section in it about how you needed to go out and experience life if you were a writer. Like, just focus on honing your craft, focus on living your fucked up life, and then start writing properly in your 30s, which I can definitely vouch for. Do you need experience to be able to write properly? You need to live the moments. You need to have these crazy experiences, and then you can sort of not write about your life. If you're writing poetic non-fiction about your life, sweet, you can do that. But that does tend to piss people off. But what you can do is you can kind of take what you have done and then transplant it into the head of your character. And again, there's a longer thing about writing with a burnt tongue in this book, which I think is a really, really good manual on how to just not write, because you need to have the talent to write to become a writer, but how to hone your craft. I'd really recommend consider this. Talks about one of the tips in there, and I'm going to shut up and read something else because I've got 10 minutes after this. One of the tips in there is they talk about writing with a burnt tongue, which is when you're writing, you have to write from the point of view of the character. So even if you're not doing first person, so for example, your character's not going to be like, he was 3 meters tall, because that's fucking weird. But your character might be, oh, he was a bit taller than my dad, and you can layer in things like that, which sort of draw you in and make you feel more like you're in their head and you know them as a person, etc., etc., etc. So very, very clever. Violet says, to me, experience adds depth for writing. Exactly, and okay, maybe you haven't been through what your character's going through right now, but you've definitely felt the emotion they're feeling. Cool. Okie dokie, thanks for sticking with me for so long, you wonderful people. Hi, Carlos Enrique Santos. I missed that one, but hi, Carlos, thank you so much for joining us. Going to Read. Okay. Poll. No poll. I've changed my mind. You don't get a choice. But if you do have any preferences for stuff you want me to read, you've seen me perform before, pop that in the comments. Oh no, the voices in my head are alive! Yeah, no, there's nobody else here. Just
I'm
me.
alive. I'm alive.
Just me and the voices in my head. So,
Or am I?
Or am I?
You do have a message on Instagram just saying, "Hi Del, you look so great." That's from DJ Miss Casanova.
Oh, DJ Miss Casanova, huh? Hi. Yeah, your Instagram comments, it's way complicated, but I can't see your Instagram comments, so thank you so much for them. Thank you so much, everybody who was walking on Instagram, just trampling all over it. Just give them a stamp for me. Filth of your own choosing and your own works. Oh, filth is good. I'm glad you guys love the filth. I can definitely read you some erotica that I wrote and got paid for, and break my NDA. See if they find me and put me in prison. What are you in prison for? I stabbed a guy. What are you in prison for? Oh, well, when we were all locked down in quarantine, I read out this stuff that I wrote and some woman paid me £600 for. And then she found out, and yeah, I'm here because I did that. They're called work for hire contracts, actually. Okay. This is called The Devil's in the Detail. Another good way to kick off an idea with writing is to take a certain phrase or an idiom that you really like and just build something around it. So that's what I did here. He's the devil in a flat cap. He must be. You're certain you see him every day, perfect business suit, red pinstripe hair, slicked back over his scalp in exactly the same way. It seems like it never gets messed up, never one strand out of place, briefcase in the window, coloured red to match. You see him on the 7:30 train from Brighton to London, and you know morning commutes filled with tired eyes and people who overslept fixing their business makeup for the day. You know grease-stained croissants crammed into yawning mouths, too many iPads, too many laptops. Here, no one takes a break. No one ever stops, cramming our lives around our jobs instead of our jobs around our lives. So, he must be the devil because he never eats, never breathes too loudly, never yawns or sighs, always takes short little steps to the end of the carriage, back again to his seat. He must be the devil because he's never falling apart at the seams, never not perfect. The devil's in the detail. And you've imagined him in every other role that you can think of, husband, lover, son, brother, and all of these scenarios, and they always end up with him turning goat. Somehow. It's the only thing that fits somehow, so you carry on watching him from your tired eyes and your greasy croissants, and you're running 5 minutes late, wondering if the devil is watching you. Prepared for something bigger, lounging for something extraordinary to break up how numb your life has become. Endless moments of the same faces, the same journeys, the same sincere frown. Nothing ever changes. No one ever morphs. So you're stalking the devil. One day, driven to it by God or monotony or whatever, you decide to confront him. You pluck up the courage to sit next to him. He spends the whole journey staring forward, not at you, but through you, breathing shallow, white knuckles curled around the edge of the table, a look in his eyes like he knows all your secrets. Is this the last time you'll see him? In the commotion to leave the carriage of Victoria, you lose him there 1 second, gone the next, end of the line. But today, you notice a change. One abandoned cup sitting on his side, far away enough to have been obscured by his briefcase. Crumpled teeth marks haunt the edge, although you didn't see him drink from it. No, too far apart to be front teeth, something else, some other teeth. Is it his? Well, can't be anyone else's. So slowly you pull off the lid, tipping it to your lips. It's gone cold. It tastes acrid, bitter, no sugar. It's just caffeine, coffee, and cold sugar, isn't it? Isn't it? Slowly, it takes you over. End of the line. End of the line. It repeats. A slow voice far off while you swirl the cold coffee down your windpipe into the system. And he must be the devil, because it's from the best coffee house in town, and only the devil would be cruel enough to leave coffee so good a fate to such the hands of other men. You wonder, whilst you're sitting there, if the end of the line is the end of the line for you. If he's the devil, then, does he know what you're doing now? Is he there outside the carriage, waiting for you with talons and claws? Has he transformed while you've not been paying attention, unrecognisable? Or is the devil as lost as you are, swaying through life, wondering how long he has to endure the card he's been dealt before he just gives up? You remember your father's word, dreams never got anyone anywhere, and you are inclined to agree. Agree, that should be. Still, you wish your heart would soar, find that special something that only artists and photographers and girls with too many piercings and too much eyeliner sing about. There was a time when you considered yourself a bohemian, you wonder where the fire went, and that fire of youth, was it crushed beyond all responsibility? Or was it crushed behind greed? And you wonder if the devil ever gets greedy or listless or terrified. You can't imagine the devil being terrified of anything. Then there's a soft hand on your shoulder. A girl chewing gum with her hair pulled back off her face, and some soft, kind words. We're at Victoria, sir, she says. You have to leave the train. So you don't even think about the fact that maybe if you convinced her to let you stay, you could ride the train home and sleep all day like you used to do when you were young. So instead you get up. You brush yourself off. You leave the cold coffee to its fate at the bottom of the rubbish bag, and you wonder, will that coffee burn through plastic? Or is coffee touched by the devil still coffee at all? Does his touch turn it into some sort of evil holy water? And you wonder if by drinking it you've been baptized. Are you now damned? If you were, at least it would be a fucking change from where you are now. Victoria platform always seems longer than it is. Tired-eyed faces yawning into pinstripe suits, briefcases clunking against each other, the smell of Lush cosmetics and the cheese shopper, copy of the Metro stashed under your arm. You're on autopilot until you see him. Him, you mean the devil, in the detail, standing quietly off to one side, down the exit to the bus station. The devil is standing, perfectly composed position, a Patrick Bateman-style smile ripping his way into your heart. Tatters. blinded. Wounded by a blow of terror, you realise you've stopped. Everything shifts. It takes one calm moment of solitude amongst the crowd. You're standing there, people tutting, pushing past you. You let the crowd carry your weight. You stumble forward a few steps and people are shaking their heads. Someone asks you to move. You drop your paper. It's immediately trampled. The devil that he is, the devil is still still. Slowly, his eyes meet yours. He raises an arm, just a little, his palm extended. That cold shiver runs through you like the first time you saw your wife's face. The knowledge that this is one of those moments you'll relive forever and you wonder if you've made the right choice. And there are moments in time that even time travelers can't change. You think of that morning commute. The way bosses will yell at you for being late. Too many iPads, too many coffees, too many people jostling you and tutting, but it's always way too English to start a proper fight. You think of your shitty one-bedroom apartment that you pay too much for, considering the state of the damp in the walls. You think of your wife struggling along in a minimum wage cafe job, terrified to pursue her love of illustration. You can't remember the last time you fucked her, and suddenly, crushingly, you want it all to stop. So there he is. The devil. Faced like, I won't hurt you, not at least, not as much as you'll end up hurting yourself, and suddenly you want it all to stop. And then you're in front of him. And you're taking his hand, and it's softer than you imagined, curling around yours. The hands of evil aren't hard-working and worn, and you know in your heart that evil is best left running its course. It's the seed of the thing that's the detail, but somehow you wonder why he's not more repulsive. And you wish that someone had told you years ago that evil would be this convincing, this easy to follow. And then you realise, after 15 minutes, that he hasn't said a word, that you're somewhere you don't recognise, that you spent the last little part of your journey staring at the back of his head and wondering where his horns are, if he has a wife like yours, if he has little, silent, perfect, terrifying children that run round his house wrecking the joint. And then you're somewhere you don't recognise, twisting and turning. You've fallen into a nightmare, the walls around you bleached black with slime. Plumes of smoke burst out from busted pipes that cling to the walls like vines. It's dark, but you swear that you can see little scratches across the wall in the darkness, weathered out words. Help me. Little candles sit high up in the gloom, throwing out less light than you expect them to. And in the grime, your pinstripes and his pinstripes seem a laughable contrast, and you don't know which is more terrifying. His footsteps echo in the darkness like you know that means bad luck. Replay the plot of every shitty horror film you ever watched. None of the endings ever turn out well. And the devil leads you into a small room. A bed of one side, a small set of tables and chairs on the other, the toilet in one corner and a wash basin. He turns, letting go of your hand, and suddenly he's gone. And he's standing in the doorway. Those fire-filled eyes staring you down, and it feels like he's about to speak, but then he thinks better of it. And then he locks the door with a crash. Overhead, the candle crackles and fades out. Darkness. Monsters. And that, my friends, is The Devil's in the Detail. Now, I've never actually read that one out loud. And I did have 2 more I was going to read for you, but we'll do them next week. What have we got here? Frankie Joseph on Twitter says, drinking too much coffee and blood. It's my life, drinking too much coffee and blood. Please. You read. Violet says you could read some of the stuff that you didn't ghost write. It's all right. I don't think any of the presses are even still up. It'll be fine. So yes, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Violet says that was fantastic. Thank you very much. We will be back next Sunday. Me, the voices in my head.
Looking forward to Easter.
Looking forward to Easter. My cat, who hasn't made an appearance today. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, let me know your comments. Please share this once it's up. Thank you very much. I love you all. Have a good Sunday.